You and your team have discovered alien life form deep in the Antarctic ice. You've excavated it and brought it back to camp. You've requested a helicopter to bring your team, along with your discovery, back to civilization for further study. But a blizzard makes it impossible for the helicopter to come. What's worse, the ice encasing the thing has thawed, and now it seeks to infect you. Last the days, eat and keep your strength up, and never sleep alone. You won't survive by yourself, but who can you trust? Who goes there? Players will need to work together to find helicopter points. They'll need to have enough by the end of the 15th round to escape successfully. A player will do his turn by performing all of his actions. These include moving from spaces and or a location. Searching indoors will allow you to find things from the storage, the workshop, or your character's belongings. These range from food, medicine, to parts required to build items as listed here. Outdoor searches can provide you with the needed helicopter points and precious XPs used to unlock your character's abilities, including unique ones here. But the cold is the thing's domain, so be sure you're ready to fight it off, because if you take 3 strikes, you're out, and your friends will have to fend for themselves. The cold will also drain your stamina if you start outside, so get inside, warm up, or chuck cards you don't need into the boiler room to start a bonfire, benefiting all there. Stamina will up your chances of success, be it to fight off enemies and dealing with events that each player must go through during their turn. Having stamina here will add 1 die or 2 dice here. Check your items as well and add the appropriate number of die depending on the color of the event, attack in red or setback in blue. Besides your well-being, make sure you take care of the camp. If you don't, you might be vulnerable to the thing, so use some action points to repair them. Being vulnerable will make you draw the top card from the vulnerability deck. You'll look at it and keep it face down. You have a 1 in 12 chance of becoming infected. If you do become infected, you'll want to be part of that helicopter rescue without drawing too much suspicion to yourself. Your helicopter points will add to the total required for the human players, but you'll still need at least 1 human player to be part of the journey. So don't go around infecting all the humans. Yes, you can infect them. One action is to trade cards, and when doing so, it's possible you may want to infect a player. You'll use these clickers and click them to save or infect when giving the card. When all players are done, a new day begins, and it brings a new event card all players need to deal with. Here you'll need to eat, and here any players not sleeping in pairs in a location will be vulnerable. As days pass, phase 2 and 3 cards unlock. The temperatures are colder now, and starting outside will make you lose more stamina. If you have none, you take a strike. Survive long enough and it'll be time to board. Players will decide who stays behind, if any. Once done, there's no turning back, so choose wisely. The doors shut and we have liftoff. Players reveal if they are infected or not with their clicker. If all are human, they win. If not, the bonus die will be rolled by players on board, and they'll add it to their points to either the amount of helicopter points they have for the human players, or to increase the requirement if they are the infected players. Should the humans on board have equal or more than required, they win. Should infected players on board be with at least 1 human and they haven't reached the required helicopter amount points needed, the infected players win. I'm going to start off by saying that the theme and who goes there is beautifully captured, and the story evolves with every action you do, what you scavenge, what events are drawn, and what equipment you build. The great components in both artistic style and graphic design also lend themselves in cementing the theme as well. The game does provide some choice, but obviously you need to find those helicopter points, food, and items to augment your chances. And those augments are really important because you're rolling these 50-50 dice in terms of success or not. So there is some luck there and in what you draw. There is a maximum hand size, but I do like the fact that the excess cards can be dropped here, and with a match, players inside will gain stamina. As the game progresses, the sense of paranoia is captured extremely well with the vulnerable cards. They're great, but what I think this game lacks in a lot of other betrayal type games is the deduction part. And this is partly due because of 2 faults, I believe. First, the infected player will not act any different than human players because he'll have the same goal as the human players. So his gameplay won't change. Sure, he could infect others and even attack them, Yes, there's a way of attacking other players, but if he plays it cool, there's no real way of letting others know he's infected. Secondly, the deduction part, and I say this in quotations, is actually a numbers game. A player with the bad luck of getting more vulnerable cards will simply be more suspect, not because of how he played, but because of what happened to him to get those vulnerable cards. And yes, I'm quite aware that the point is to make it hard to tell whom is infected, like the movie, but I just want you all to be aware that suspicion will mostly come to this, as there's no real way of knowing who's infected until they either infect you when trading or reveal themselves on boarding. That's not to say the game isn't good. It'll certainly have an audience, and I do think they will enjoy it. For us, Who Goes There scores an inconspicuous 7 out of 10.